Oh my god, the host just triple sat me.
Do you see who's food running tonight?
56 was just sitting there making out the entire time I was trying to take
Why do we have
order.
so many servers on the floor? Did you hear about 73?
This is a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events, is purely coincidental.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so...
It's your turn to introduce us.
That's fair. Welcome to Rolling Silverware. I'm Bunny.
And I'm Kat.
All right, so let's get right into it. A little bit of pre-shift. How
Pre-shift.
did tonight go for you?
Guest-wise, great. Loved it. Had a great time. I don't think I had a single table where, like, it was just wasn't the vibe. Like, all of my guests were super cool. Loved them. I didn't have one table that, like, really went wrong, which was really impressive.
Not me either. All food came out good.
Yeah,
Timing of tables was fairly good.
Yeah. There wasn't an expo issue, which shockingly
For training.
I was gonna say sometimes it definitely happens, but no issues there. Food came out of the kitchen on time, how it was supposed to be cooked. I didn't have a single thing sent back. Like guest wise, super great. Coworker wise, not so much.
Not so great.
It wasn't great. I had a couple of instances tonight that I have been itching to tell you about.
I cannot wait for this. We have spoken very little tonight.
Which
is unusual for us.
I know, it's always...
And it's been very hard.
Yes, we absolutely debrief in the middle of a shift constantly.
Anytime we can go outside.
Yes, I need to talk to you right this second. Girl.
What happened?
So, first and foremost, the host seat a table that's not in my section and not in the person next to me section. It's not my neighbor's section.
Right.
It's an unassigned table.
Beautiful.
So, I'm walking by it.
And they speak to nobody about it.
For a couple of minutes, I am walking by this table, and then I notice that my neighbor has not greeted this table either. And so I go up to my neighbor, and I'm like, hey, that's your table. That's got to be your section. And she says, no, these 4 tables are my section.
Right.
And I said, well, these 4 tables are my section. So I greet the table. I take them, whatever, no big deal. And then I go off to the front desk, and I'm like, hey, front desk lady that's been working for us for a very long time.
People in charge of seating.
Not only that, but this girl has been working for us for so long.
Right.
And she should absolutely know better than this.
Half the time she doesn't give a fuck, though.
That's
what it comes down to. She just doesn't give a fuck. And she's like, they'll figure it out.
Right. So I walk up to her and I was like, hey, these tables are unassigned and you sat them. And she goes, yeah, they're your neighbors. And I'm like, okay, well, you didn't tell her, and you didn't tell me either.
Nobody is aware.
And she looks at me and goes, well, they just sat down.
10 fucking minutes ago.
That literally to the point where when I walked up to the table, they were like, yeah, it seemed like there was, nobody really knew, like, who was going to take care of us. I'm really glad you're here. They said something to me because they noticed that both me and my neighbor were walking by them and not
paying any attention. The
and
two
not greeting
servers
them.
Clearly in their section.
Right.
None the wiser.
Very noticeable to them.
Ugh.
And they had like kids on the table. It was a absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
So I looked at her and I was like, no, they didn't just sat down. They've been sitting for quite a while. And you didn't say anything to anybody. And we've both been ignoring them. I was irately mad.
Yeah.
I was like, are you joking?
That's like if they sat at a table in the large party section for me and just assumed I knew that it was for me.
That's exactly what it was.
That's weird because my assigned section is not that table.
Exactly. And with management cracking down on
How
we're
many
only
tables.
allowed to have this many tables, you can't pick up outside your section, blah, blah, blah. So
Why would I think it was mine?
If you're going to seat me outside my section, you kind of need to tell me it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was like, they just sat down, I was so mad. I was so mad that she said
What
that to
do
me.
you call just?
Exactly.
You want to know what the guest calls just? Like 30 seconds ago.
Exactly. Like, I couldn't believe she said that to me.
No.
I was so mad. And then
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, and I know you know who I'm talking about. And then I had an issue with the new guy. The new guy we had on staff today.
Tell me all about it.
I am getting so sick and tired of this jackass. This
my sales at my last job were 3 times my sales here.
That's what I
Cool,
literally...
then fucking leave. Great.
Exactly.
Great.
We are having this conversation. He's looking at me and he's like, well, I just go based off of sales. So, like, what are your sales? And I'm like, well, typically I walk with more than 20% of my sales.
Right. Same.
After tip out.
Yeah.
So I don't really go based off sales. And he looks at me shocked. Shocked and awed. More than 20% after tip out?
Yeah.
Yeah, dog, I'm a good sir. You just
I'm good
said.
at my fucking job.
Yeah, he literally
Surprise,
was
surprise.
like, if you're good at your job, then you're always going to be walking with more than 20%. So it is based on sales. And then I say this and he was like, wow, really? 20%?
Which is it?
What do you think this is? And for him to look at me and be like, you know, at Yard House, our places, our sales were this much more, and this was this much more, and we were 10 times busier, and, you know, at Yard House we did this, and at Yard House we did that. I worked at that Yard House.
Right. You have firsthand knowledge of his exact last location.
Not just a Yard House.
Right.
The
exact same one.
Fucking location this kid came from. And he's looking at me like, oh, this is how it was ran. And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, I know.
Sure.
I've told him before that I came from that Yard House.
Yeah.
Immediately to this, where we're currently working.
He's also one of those servers that, like, he needs to know where everybody has worked previously to get a feel for somebody.
How well they are.
I know that we do that. Like, we get a new person in and everybody's like, where have you worked before? Like, you get that question like 100 times when you're new somewhere, right?
When you're new, not necessarily
but
when
you're
you've been
the
established.
new guy, and, like, me answering that I've been at this location 3.5 years should suffice enough.
It should.
It should let you know that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, and obviously I'm making good enough money to be here 3.5 years.
Right.
But he still wants to know, well, where else have you worked?
Not only that, you were his trainer.
Yeah.
Like,
I am in charge of you most nights.
absolutely. For him to look at me and just be like, oh, at Yard House we did this, at Yard House we did that. At one point in the night, he is standing at the service well near the bar, and there is a champagne flute ready to be ran. Ticket is turned, it is ready to be ran. And he is standing there waiting for his drinks.
Fantastic.
You know what they do at Yard House? Write people up that do that.
Perfect. So what the fuck are you doing?
Right. I'm literally looking at him. I said something. I was like, hey, if there's a drink to be ran, you should really just run it and not stand here. And I ran that drink.
Yeah.
And I don't, because you know what? They write people up where you came from.
Yeah.
So all the
it should
sales.
be ingrained in you to already have this down.
Thank you. It's not even, if one drink is ready to be ran at Yard House, you run that drink.
Right.
If there is a tray of, you take a full tray. If you walk up to the bar, you are taking a full tray of drinks. And
as it should be here. That is,
as it should
that
be.
is how it should be here.
Which it's not. Okay, fine, whatever.
But
it's
we know
annoying.
the servers who won't run drinks for other people.
Right. And it's, you know, it's very obvious who's just kind of like lazy and doesn't want to do their job. But the fact that he's so much, oh, at my last place, at my last place, at my last place, at my last place.
And you're
you know
like,
what?
well, at your last place.
You obviously fucking sucked at your last place too.
Yeah.
And then
why don't you work there anymore?
Literally in the middle of this conversation. I cannot believe this kid said this to me. In the middle of this conversation, he looks at me and he goes, so do you have any like big plans to get out of the industry? Like, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? He asked me if I have a real job. Dog.
How old are you?
Right.
How old is it? What are you, my dad? What's your 9 to 5 gonna be?
Right.
Excuse me? Isn't he like 28? I don't even fucking know how old he is.
Yes. He is exactly, he's like 27, 28. But he looked at me in working in the same industry
What
that
are
I
your
am
plans
currently
for the rest
working
of
in.
your life? I'm sorry, I'm raking in $100 more, if
Every
not
shift.
2, than you are. This is what. Fuck off.
Right.
No.
The amount of times my dad has asked me.
That's what I said. What are you, my dad?
Like, yeah, I get.
Or are you gonna get like a job that pays insurance?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got Medi-Cal, bitches. Like, what do you want? I pay fuck all for my insurance.
And my husband pays my insurance. He's got the big boy job.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy
Also,
to me.
did you turn the question around on him? I would have. I'd been like, what the fuck are your plans?
No, I literally looked at him and I was like,
What are you in school for something? Like, where are you headed from here, sweetheart?
Considering he's almost 30 and asked me if I have a big girl job. Do
Ew.
you? You're right.
Yeah.
Like, do you? What are you doing?
What's your 5-year plan?
It was absolutely nuts to me that he asked me that. I could not believe it. And I
No.
looked at him and I was like, well, I'm coming up on 19 years in this industry. So this is kind of what I
Right.
do. Like, I'm good at it and I make good money doing it. And he goes, oh my God, how old are you? So I tell him whatever, like how old I am. And he's like, whoa, I never would have guessed. I thought you were around my age. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, you're cute as shit, so.
I mean, yeah, but also like,
Rightfully so, yes.
okay, not everybody that works in the restaurant industry either looks decrepit or 23.
Or is 18, yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't believe that he asked me that. As
No.
somebody also in the industry, that is such an offensive question.
Also, who just took a job. Like, it'd be a little bit different if you worked with us for a year and you're like, hey, you know, what is your next step if you have one? Or is this
Right.
as
casual
working out for
conversation.
you? Right. Everyday conversation. But
No, he's been there 3 weeks, and he's like,
Off
my
the
last job,
cuff,
my last
just
job,
like-
my last job. Oh, what are you going to do?
what are you going to do for the rest of your life? Who the fuck are you?
Suck dick. What do you... I don't know.
Beach Boulevard's right here.
Right? Like,
Just saying.
fuck, I don't know. I should have said that. That would have been fucking hilarious.
Sometimes I hit the corner, you know? Like, I'm a working woman.
I got marketable skills, dog.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Remember how you thought I was so young? Yeah, that plays
So do
on
my
the
Johns.
streets, too.
Yeah, I was mad that he asked that. And
That's an absurd question to ask somebody.
yeah, it's just his whole vibe.
In the current job that you have, if you're on a date with somebody and you ask them like, oh, and they're like, hey, I'm a bartender, and then you get around to it and you're like, oh, well, do you have plans for the future? That's a question on a date, sure, and not offensive. But to talk to somebody who you are currently working with, who you just took a job for this company to be here for, we think, the foreseeable future,
Right.
who are you?
I've told you before, I have such a weird vibe from that
That's
kid.
fair.
And this tonight just solidified it for
Yeah.
me. Like I'm not
That's
a fan
weird.
at all. He's so weird.
Yeah.
He's so cocky. He doesn't
Too
shut
cocky.
the hell up
Way too
about his
cocky.
last job, and then he does nothing but get server errors. And I said something about that too. Like, I'm sorry, you're not as good as you think you are if you have 4 tables and you're getting server errors. Like,
Right.
I get it, you're brand new. And sometimes you put things in that maybe we don't have, or because
Right.
we don't block anything out on
But
the
we have
computer.
another brand new guy who is well aware of the fact that he is brand new. He has told me
Yes.
on multiple occasions, I know I'm new here, XYZ.
Also, you know what the other new guy does is he asks questions.
Yeah.
This kid has never once asked a question.
Oh, he asked me a lot of questions.
Does
but-
he?
Yeah.
He's never once asked me a question. I feel like the other new guy has. Like,
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
see anybody that's
Consistently.
around and he's like, hey, can you help me?
Yeah.
Whereas,
As you do when you're new somewhere.
right. This
But also
guy-
the other new guy doesn't walk around going, well, you know, my last job.
I
Well, he
know.
quit his last job to come here.
Yeah, for a reason.
Right.
Obviously. So what was wrong with Yard House that
Yeah.
you quit? So maybe shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It was so crazy to
No.
me that he was so all about, oh, my last job. And he's talking about, oh, my sales are this, and, you know, what are your sales here? And he's talking about, like, when does it pick up for you? So in the summertime, so, like, what exactly month is that? And I'm like, if you can't wait it out, then leave.
And I told him, I was like, you can't judge a restaurant based on their January, February fucking sales. You
Also,
can't. No restaurant across the board. Even
Is
when I
ever
worked fine
busy.
dining, even when I worked right next to a fucking theme park, when places are busy, it's when holiday season, when everything in the summer, everybody's out of school, everybody's got time off of work. Like, obviously, January and February are going to be slower fucking months. I
Yep.
told him, I was like, you can't judge our restaurant based on our February fucking sales. That makes no sense at all. And if he's been in the industry as long as he says he has,
He would know that.
you would know. You would know right off the bat, like, yeah, I'm joining a place in February. Probably not the best.
Right.
Okay. And also, don't stick it out then. Please leave.
Right.
Fine.
Just his whole air of cockiness is so
Oh,
annoying to
So
me.
conceited and cocky.
So conceited, and I don't know, just something. Ugh. Just ugh. The whole kid.
Ugh.
Just throw it away.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
Just put yourself in the trash.
Just chuck it. Chuck it in the fucking bucket. I don't.
We
want
didn't
it.
even need another server as it stands.
Exactly.
So we
We
could
didn't
lose
need
them
him.
and we wouldn't feel it for even a heartbeat.
Right. And I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, yes, maybe my sales, tonight were 1,300.
Sure.
I walked with almost 250.
Right.
You know what's great for me on any given shift is working 4 hours and making $250. I said something tonight where I was literally like, yeah, once you know the menu and know the system, then you'll get better shifts and better
Yeah.
sections.
Yeah, you can't really complain about your starting day shifts at a restaurant. I also
Everywhere-
started during the day.
Everywhere you go, you're going to start on the slower shifts.
Yeah.
Some restaurants, you know what I mean, that are like breakfast restaurants. Hello? That are like,
What?
that stroke tasted incredible.
Yum, yum, yum.
Breakfast restaurants and stuff like that are super busy in breakfast, you're going to work more afternoon night shifts, and
Right.
vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the slower ones are,
That's where you're going to start.
you're going to start there because
And rightfully so.
they want you to know the menu, they want
Yeah.
you to know the steps of service,
And to have
when
that
you're
time
not
to ask
inundated.
questions and to learn the flow and the timing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely ridiculous for him to look at me and just be like, well, what are your average sales? Because the sales at my last place were this. I know what the sales were at the last place for that.
I worked there.
Worked at that exact location.
Jeez. That's absurd. I had no idea.
He made me so mad tonight. And I was biting my tongue so hard because all I wanted to do was be like, let's go outside. But I knew that it would be better not to.
So much better now.
I hate him
I
so
had no
much.
idea. That's crazy.
I loathe his bloodline at this point. I can't stand him.
Just condemn his firstborn. Oh my God.
So that was basically, like I said, guest-wise, great.
Sure.
All
yeah.
of my guests were super cool.
Great guess. All except for my one guest that I swear on my life, this man ordered the same dish as his wife. So she ordered, and I went, yep, what are your sides? And then he ordered what my hearing is good, right? I have great hearing. I pay attention. That's my whole fucking job.
Right.
So I'm good at doing that. And when this man looked me in my face and said, this dish, the same as your wife's, got it. And your two sides. And so he orders it. I put it in. That's a quick dish. It comes out fairly quickly.
Yep.
And apparently when the food runner went to put it down, he goes, I can't have that. That's not what I ordered. I ordered scallops. And I can't have that because I'm allergic to capers. And so they pull it away and they take it to the kitchen. They stop me. Food runner stops me. And he's like, hey, I just want to let you know, he says it's the wrong dish. I walk immediately up to the table and I go, hey, sir, how's it going? Your wife ordered dish and you ordered dish. And he goes, I ordered scallops. I go, I am so sorry. I could swear, like I wrote down dish because that's how I know. And he's like, oh no, I ordered the scallops. I go, I am so sorry. I misheard you. I can get those working for you. That's so fast. Like scallops are so fast. I'll put that right in. Same sides? He goes, yeah, of course. Perfect. I put it in the system. I go and I tell our kitchen manager. And I'm like, hey, just rang in an order of scallops. Can we prioritize that? Because I misheard the guest. 100% my fault. Absolutely my fault. Doesn't happen often, but yeah, it was my fault. So I was like, can we put this in? He goes, yeah, on it. And then I watch him find the ticket on the screen and not prioritize it. And instead he just tells the line, can we get those scallops working now for this table? And they say, okay. So I walk away. I'm like, all right. Minutes go by. Not too many, but enough that I feel like scallops should be ready.
Right.
And I've already checked on the table. They're fine. He's not in a bad mood at all. But his wife's like halfway done with her meal by this point.
Oh, I hate that.
So again, my bad, right? I take full responsibility. I took responsibility at the table. I told the manager, took full responsibility for the problem. And then I walk up to the line and our other kitchen manager is handing the food runner another plate of dish, just minus the capers. And I go, what? No. He didn't want dish. He wants scallops. And I was like, I rang it in. And our kitchen manager looks at me and he goes, okay, well, we were told that he just couldn't have the capers and it was an allergy issue. So we made a fresh one. I go, cool, but I rang in scallops. It's right now at this point in time, it has been prioritized. I don't know at what point it got prioritized, but it did. I think after our floor manager went up and talked about it. And so I was like, please don't take that out to the table. Do you know how bad that would look on me if you walk out the same dish?
Right. After he very distinctly told you, no, I ordered scallops.
No, I ordered scallops. And I said, no, scallops. And then, of course, because we've got fucking regional standing at the line, our kitchen manager looks at me and he goes, okay, well, we were told that it was an allergy issue, so we just changed the dish. I go, that's fine, but I fucking rang in scallops.
Right.
Maybe I know what I'm talking about. Maybe. I don't know. So then, but it's only because fucking regional was standing there that I got the attitude that I got. And it was like, hey, we just thought. I was like, okay.
Shut up.
I'm hearing what you thought, but I'm also looking at what you should be reading.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
So, thank God we don't take that out to the table. And less than 30 seconds later, what if I wasn't there?
Yep.
Oh my God, could you, now that guy would have been fucking livid, and rightfully so.
His wife's almost done with her meal, and you bring out the same dish that he very specifically said he didn't want. Now, granted, those dishes do sound similar. I'm not, but if you had asked me, Amanda, what did this table order for $1 million right now? I would have told you what I thought they fucking ordered. Yeah. And I would have confidently stated it. I just misheard it. It was very loud in the restaurant tonight. I'm not trying to, tell myself, oh, no, you didn't fuck it up. I fucked it up, and that's fine. It happens. Yeah. But, yeah, so we got the scallops out to them. They had a great rest of their meal, and then they even tipped me 30%.
So
Not bad.
clearly no qualms whatsoever happening from the table. They still enjoyed my service. They still enjoyed their meals. And then they even got carrots to go. They were like, we love these carrots so much. Can you get us an order to go? And we'll even take what we have left on our plates. We're going to use it as our side for dinner tomorrow at home.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, absolutely. So I order the side of carrots. They fill it all the way to the fucking top, rightfully so, because they're paying $8 for it.
Yeah.
And then I bring them a small box on the side. I go, hey, we fill this to the brim, so there's no room for what you already have. Here's a box on the side. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Aww.
Sweet, sweet couple. So happy. But I just like, that was the only issue I had tonight. And like, what, like, also, I'm sorry. Also several things, okay? Also,
that was the only issue, but also these 10 other things that happened.
no, just about that thing. Like, why when I look at you and I say, can we prioritize something, do you find the ticket and not prioritize it? Scallops are such a quick cook. If he had prioritized it right from the start, they probably would have been out 5 minutes before dish number 2 got done.
Yeah, for sure.
So we could have, I don't know. It all could have been handled better, but like, at the end of the day, what can I say? Like, it worked out.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. But other than that, I did have a very smooth night. Like, it wasn't, no concerns. I felt like on the floor wise, so when I write the side work for people,
Right.
I try to take into account, one, what people like doing and what people don't like doing. And I also put the people who skimp out on every side work every fucking week, I put them on rolls.
Yeah.
So I find the 2 servers, when we have enough servers on, right? That 2 people are going to end up on rolls and not doing like a designated side work.
Mm-hmm.
I put them on rolls. So I found the 2 people on my list and I said, these 2 people suck at side work. So they're getting rolls. Both of them were ecstatic to be on rolls. So they rolled their 2 boxes so happily.
Yeah.
And then I know that that's knocked out of the way. And then I put everybody else where I think they want to be. And I don't know, it's not that hard. Like, it's not that hard. A lot of other closers don't do that. They just put you wherever based on whatever. I just take into consideration, like, hey, if you hate doing side work A, guess where I'm probably never going to put you?
Yeah.
Unless it's just me and you, and then I'm like, hey, you have to do A, B, and C with me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's entirely different. But I seem to get a lot of, not just respect, but I get a lot of, like, people being like, hey, thank you so much for, like, hearing me out. And it's like, that costs me nothing. And the side work still gets done, and it gets done happier. People are happier doing the side work that they enjoy doing versus the stuff that they fucking drag their feet on.
And they're going to do it better as
right.
well.
They're going to do it better. They're going to do it faster. And they're going to come to me and be like, I did it. And I can believe them.
Yeah.
Instead of, did you do it?
Yeah.
Like, are you lying?
I'll do C so much faster and more efficient than I'll ever do A. And it's literally just because I'm constantly putting off all of the nonsense that I have to do for A.
A is disgusting. It's so many sauces, so many things to touch. I hate A. I hate it.
I hate A. I hate the sauces. I don't mind, like, the fry cups, the chopsticks.
Sure.
All of that. It's like, okay, whatever. Even, like, D, with all the condiments, I don't mind it nearly as much.
I don't mind it as much. I can crank it out.
As I mind having to go into the walk-in, grab a full 32-ounce steel container of tartar sauce, remoulade, and cocktail, which the cocktail I need to mix together myself, and then putting them into another 32-ounce plastic container.
Why don't we just prep them into the plastic containers?
Don't ask me questions right now that are just going to make me mad.
Don't piss me off for no reason.
I'm ready to box somebody about it. Yeah. Like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Part of me wonders if it's because maybe the line uses the same condiments. I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, I feel like tartar sauce solely comes from our side of the line.
Maybe, but I need to tell myself right now that the other side of the line uses it
They must use it. I mean, we use cocktail sauce at the O Bar. We use cocktail sauce for other things. That tracks. But no, I hate A. I also hate A. B has only become annoying since they switched it.
Switched it to what?
Where you have to do the spoons also. Because spoons used to be A.
Oh,
so now
I would hate A even more if it had spoons on it.
Yeah, it used to have spoons on it. And so you had to kind of work with B and be like, hey, some of those spoons need to end up with me. So then the people doing B would just leave all of the spoons.
You needed these, right?
Yeah, for A to do. But anyways, okay, so in total, I did have a good night. I feel like everything worked out. My party of 7 when I first got there was very nice. They all wanted strawberry lemonade, so that was super easy.
Nice.
And then I cracked a couple jokes with them because like 2 people got the same thing, 2 people got the same thing, 2 people got the same thing, and then this one guy was like, well, I want something totally different. And I said, oh, so you're the problem.
Yeah, I didn't work out for you.
They laughed. Everybody thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then when it came time to, so they had a cake in the fridge, right? So I'm clearing plates, and this one girl, like opposite the birthday girl, right? Like total opposite side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, can we get that? I brought a cake. Can we get the cake out? And I go, yeah. I already had plates, forks, and a knife set aside very close to their table, like in eyesight of their table.
Perfect.
For the dessert. I'm on top of this.
Great server. Look at you go.
Who knew, right?
I know.
And how could I think what my guests might need next? And so I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go get that for you right now. And she goes, and the check. And I need the check. And I was like, yeah, of course. So she has her card in hand, and I go, do you want me to take that? And she's like, no, just a check. I go, okay. So I go and I get the cake. I clear some more plates, and then I put the candles in the cake, and I bring it out. I have check in pocket. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and the check. And the check. I was like, yes, I know. It's right here.
Relax.
She was also standing when she caught me, and so I didn't know if she wanted the table to know she was paying. So I waited for her to take her seat to hand her the check. And then she starts screaming to the table, does anyone want ice cream? What kind of ice cream do you have? And I was like, we have vanilla and chocolate. And she's like, does any vanilla, chocolate, anybody? And I'm just like, okay. She's already clipped her card to the check. And she's like, I guess just one vanilla.
Does she think ice cream is free? Or?
Well, and like, I know you brought the cake, but like, we don't just supply you with the rest of your desserts.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, so just the one. She's like, yeah, put it on the tab, just the one. And I go, okay, great. So I go and I ring it in and I send it through. Their bill was $279 and she left me $30.
That sucks.
Now, not great, right? Not great. But I will admit that out of all of my tables tonight, that's the only one that didn't tip me 20% or more. So in total, it still ended up being a fine night.
It averages out, yeah.
But had they tipped me,
yeah.
You know, you always think like, well, what I should have made tonight. But she paid for the whole table. So she paid, $279. It's like, it comes down to that, like, well, everyone here enjoyed themselves. Everybody had a great time. Not a moment went by where anybody needed anything. Mm-hmm. I was on top of refills. I was on top of clearing plates. I brought boxes. I cleared plates the moment that they finished scraping into their boxes. Like, I mean, yeah, I had other tables who were also getting the same service, but this table got exceptional service from start to finish. And then to get, 15%?
Not even. I would say that's like literally closer to 11 or 12%.
Right. And it's like, oh, well, that's a disappointment.
Yeah, at least you didn't pay for them.
I did not. So other than that, which again didn't even really bother me once I started getting more tables, because I try not to focus on it. I know that the one table that it averages out. Somebody's going to tip me less, somebody's going to tip me more, and I'm going to be happy at the end of the day.
So yesterday, we didn't really talk about this yesterday, but yesterday, the giggly buster, right, the one that just wanders around and giggles all day, he took one look at me and went, and then like,
excuse me?
I know, and then walked away, and I was like, okay. I didn't do anything different with my makeup, my hair, nothing. Like, it was
Had he not seen your
No, he
shag
absolutely
cut?
had seen the shag cut. He had seen the rat tails. Like, he had seen all of it. And he looked at me and went,
you looked fucking amazing yesterday. Like, are you kidding me?
thank you. I thought so too. So it was one of those things where I was just like, whatever. I didn't say anything. And then I'm in the dish pit, and he kind of does it again. Like, he takes one look at me and starts like, like giggling. And I let it go again. And I thought to myself, one more thing.
Sure.
Being said.
Also, not being your style is kind of what I'm going for.
Right. Yeah. Like, excuse me.
If you
for
don't
not
find
being
me
your type.
attractive, thank God.
Exactly. That the last thing I want that man to do is find me attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way I dress and the way I look is specifically to make sure that men like him don't find me attractive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It is a conscious choice
I
that I make in my
none of
life.
your attention. Yeah.
Right. So it was I was just like, okay, if he says one more thing, like, I'm gonna say something.
Sure.
Like, I don't play that game with him. And he
Especially
did it.
after all the other bullshit we've dealt with him.
Exactly. And I was a little petty with my pre-busing just because he had made me mad.
Sure.
And, not great. Shouldn't be doing that. But at the end of the day, screw you.
Yeah. Well, he gets petty with it, so.
True. And then today, as I'm walking in, I see him from across the street in the parking lot, and he like waves to me, hey. And I was like, sup, right? Like I didn't make a big show of it, but I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then
I don't even nod in his direction.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't pay him any mind at all.
Most of the shift, I kind of just ignored him.
Sure.
I didn't acknowledge him in the dish pit or when he was walking around or
Right.
cleaning my tables. I didn't say thank you or anything like that. It was just like, yeah, you're doing your job and I'm doing mine. Great.
Great.
We'll go about our day.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need to be, this isn't RuPaul's Best Friend race. I don't
Right.
care. You know what I mean? I was just like, it's fine. And so, I love saying that.
So it took me a minute to register what you had said, and I was like, no, it's not. You're right.
Yeah, it's not. So at one point, I'm in the dish pit and I'm talking to one of the guys in the kitchen, the kid that was on the grill, right? That we worked days together so many times.
Right.
And he's always the weirdest guy, but
Yeah.
he's so much fun. He's really funny, but he's always like, oh, mi amor, I love you,
Yeah.
right? And so he's talking to me and he's saying his usual, like, whatever. He goes, mi amor, how's your night? You're so busy tonight. And I hear giggly Buster behind me laughing. I turned around so quick and I looked directly at him and I was like, do you have something to say? And he just like kept laughing. And then he started speaking Spanish to the
Right.
line cook. And I just walked away because I had made my point. Like, do you have something to say? You can say it to my face. If not, shut your mouth.
Fuck off.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares. And later on I went to the line cook and I was like, what was he saying? Like, what was he saying?
Yeah, what did he have to say?
Well, the line cook didn't tell me anything.
Well,
He's
of course
keeping
not.
secrets. He's like, I don't know. He was saying something about shoes. I don't know what he's talking about. And I was like, I don't think that's true, but also it very much could be true because
be
that
true.
kid is so weird.
He's so weird.
Like, I don't know if he comes in high as hell or what
Could
he
be.
does. He just literally walks around the restaurant giggling to himself all the time.
Oh, he's nonstop laughter. Like,
Yeah.
you say, oh, I hope it's not busy tonight. That's it. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody says ever, he's giggling about it. And I don't know if that's like a nervous reaction or what.
I don't know, but his brother who works with us or his cousin, whoever the heck it is, does the exact same thing. It
brother.
sounds exactly like him.
Yeah, they're twins. I mean, they're not, but they're
so creepy.
5-year apart twins.
They're Irish twins. But not.
But not, right. No, he drives me up a wall most shifts. I can't
Same.
stand him often. And I feel like that's like across the board, most people
Yeah.
can't stand him. That's the host, that's the managers, that's the servers, that's even some of the back of house, I bet, gets annoyed with him. So it's not
Just
just
related to half of them, so.
it's not just us being mean. This kid is really annoying for seemingly no reason at all. But
Remember when he thought that he was going to be on track for management? He
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I'm going to try to be a manager. And I was
Yeah.
like, dog.
somewhere else.
Who? Who do you think you are? Like, there's absolutely no way in hell.
When he's answering the phones and stuff like that, like, I wonder how those takeout orders go. Like, I know that he has a thick accent. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean the
No,
fact
it's
that
whatever.
he just rambles his way through statements and barely makes sense to any of us who work with him daily. And how did these people on the phone take that conversation? Like, oh, you want the fish and chips? Like, just like, and instead of carrots, like, I don't know how that plays out. And when I see him up at the host desk and he's trying to seat guests,
I hate that.
I do not want him to be the face of the restaurant.
Yep.
Like, we have hosts for a reason, and there's usually one standing up there who he's awkwardly trying to flirt with and just bothering. He was
Oh my
bothering our
gosh.
new host the other day. Remember I told you about
she
that?
always gets so uncomfortable. I always feel bad when I see
Yeah.
him up there and I try to like walk up and I'm like, hey, and I try to like make conversation with her.
Yeah.
So that she knows that like I'm standing right here.
Yeah,
Like,
well, and I called him out on it too, because I was up there talking to her about the shift. We were having a whole
Mm-hmm.
conversation about it. It was great. And she was asking me questions. I don't know her very well. She's brand new. So she's like, oh, you know, what's this? What's that? And I told her about my kid, and I told her about a couple of other things. And then he walks up, and he starts asking about the lineup. And so we show him the lineup. And then he's like, well, what are you doing? And I said, what are you doing?
yeah, what do you care?
Also, nothing that you need. You don't even need to know the lineup. If you want to know it, okay, great, I guess. And then he made a comment. I didn't even hear what he said, like, because I half the time don't understand him anyways.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear what he said. And then I looked at him and I go, oh, I'm sorry, do you want me to leave? And he, like, shrugged his shoulders and, like, rolled his eyes at me. And I looked straight at her and I said, do you want me to stay? And she goes, I do. And I was like, great. And so I stayed for another 30 seconds. And then I had a table I had to go greet. But I was like, I'm really sorry, I got to bounce out. But yeah, you bother people. You're bothering people.
Yeah.
This has been ongoing for years.
Yeah.
So,
I always, always, always hate it when he'll like walk up to a table of guests and he's, scheduled to bus, run, whatever.
right.
But he's scheduled to not be a server because he does not have server training. And he'll walk up to a table and try to be like, oh, anything else? Like, can I get you a refill? Leave my tables alone.
Yeah.
Like, that is not your job. You are taking away the fifth line of to-do things that I have,
Yeah.
which is going to throw off the first four and then everything after it.
Right.
Like, I specifically have timing in my head of what I need to do for each of my tables.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you interrupt that, you're not helping me in any way, shape, or form. And you are
Especially
because
you won't tell me that you're doing it. He'll just come up and start doing something for a table, and it's like, wait, why? Now I've gotten a Diet Coke, and you've gotten a Diet Coke, and who looks like the asshole walking up to that table with now a second Diet Coke?
Yeah.
Like, just, no. He needs to fuck off. I'm sorry. I understand that he's related to the majority of our restaurant.
It's literally just nepotism because his dad worked for us for so long. And then he got literally all of his children's and nieces and nephews and cousins a job, which is like...
grandchildren, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, grandchildren too. It's like, okay, fine, like I get it, if we needed a spot and he had, people that were qualified to do it, or even people that were eager to learn, like, yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. I don't know, just something about that one in particular.
Yeah. Well, and he does waste a lot of time doing a lot of things he shouldn't be doing.
And then gets mad at me.
And then he immediately turns around and wants to get mad about a beer glass left on a table.
Mm-hmm.
Which falls back into the, I left that beer glass probably not because it was empty the whole time the guests sat there, but because they were still fucking drinking it. Today, I had a guy sit with a 22-ounce beer until literally his girlfriend was standing at the table waiting for him to finish it. When did you want me to pull that beer glass from him?
Directly from his mouth.
Right. The moment the last drop touched his tongue, and I'm just like, thank you so much.
Before that, the minute they paid, you should have grabbed that beer glass.
You're done with this.
You paid for it, so now you're done.
It's mine now. And
I'm going to finish this for you. Thank you so much.
Goodbye. Guests coming in late, right? Like, just in general, like, it's 9:50 and a guest walks in. Like, it's reasonable for anyone in the industry to be like, wow, that's mildly annoying, because sometimes at 9:50, I've already broken down the bread machine because I haven't had a table in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't think I need bread. Now, should I wait until closing? Most likely. But 9 times out of 10, nobody strolls in the restaurant. And also telling somebody, like, I don't know, even before I worked in the industry, if I walked into a place, like say I walked into Rubio's and I was like, hey, you guys are open till 10, right? And they're like, no, we're open till 9 and it's 8:50. Guess who's fucking off to find something else to eat?
Me.
I am. Because
100%.
you probably have your fryers shut down. You probably, the restaurant is clean, I'm not going to be that person. I just can't be that person that keeps everybody waiting on me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't go out to eat late. I'm not saying that. By all means, we're open till 10. We will seat you until 10. But like, it's also usually the attitude of the people that come in at that time.
So entitled.
So entitled, and almost like they don't want me doing anything else but serving them. And it's like, at this time, I'm checking out other servers. I have to make sure that they're doing their job. I also need to hopefully get a start on my side work.
Right.
Now, I know...
Closing down the restaurant.
Right,
yeah.
And I know that some people don't know that I have, 17 things I need to do once this restaurant is done. I still have multiple things that need to happen once every guest has left. They don't know that, and that's fine. I'm not expecting the world to know. It's just like, can I put it in a frame that they would understand? Like, hey, you're done with work at 5 o'clock? Well, I'm sending you an email at 4:57, and I need you to respond to it right now. Like, would you not be a little bit annoyed, or would you even skip over it and just answer it the next day? I can't get to you tomorrow. I have to serve you and deal with you for another however many minutes you're going to be here. Which, like I said, I understand that that's how the restaurant works, and I'm fine with it. But the attitude I get from guests that come in late seems to be just the shittiest.
I've absolutely, people come in like 5-10 minutes before closing, especially when I was working behind the bar. People would come in and sit at the bar. The second they sat down, I would check the time, and I would tell them, hey, just so you're aware, my kitchen closes at this time.
Right.
Right. Whether it's, 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now. Hey, just so you know,
just a heads up.
Kitchen closes in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If you could look over the menu and we can put everything in at once. I'll try and course everything out for you as much as possible, but my kitchen's going to start
Shutting
cleaning up
down.
soon,
Yeah.
if not has already started.
Right.
And a lot of that is because of how dead we get
Right.
towards the last hour.
The last hour. Yeah.
Right. It's our location. It is what
Right.
it is. Something about our restaurant is like, it's
We're not
super
close
busy.
enough to the movie theater. We're not
Right.
close enough to anything else for people to be leaving from somewhere and be like, oh, a quick bite over here.
Exactly.
So yeah, after about an hour to closing, we usually slow way down.
Yeah, it goes from like pretty poppin' to everybody gets up and not a single other soul walks into
Right.
this restaurant.
Until sometimes that
Until every
one-off
once in a while.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
5
I
minutes
don't
before.
feel like warning somebody about our closing time should be an offensive remark.
But it is.
But it
always
is.
is. They always look at me and they're like, "Are you serious?" And I'm literally standing behind the bar with a Tupperware everywhere filled with
Right.
garnishes, and I'm like, "What do you think?"
No. We close at 10, but we stay completely 100% open and ready to go until 11.
Right.
But we close at 10, so the last seating's at 10. But just in case, nobody's closing anything until 11. Like, no, that's absurd. That's so much more hours on the clock
Exactly.
that obviously a corporate company doesn't want.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, it's always the attitude I'm given,
Yeah.
which makes me bitter towards it. Like I said, you come in at 9:45, we close at 10, and you know what you want. Guess who's going to be your best possible server?
Yep.
And I will absolutely make sure that everything comes out properly, and I'll do that for every guest, whether you give me attitude or not. But, like,
Of
it makes it a
course.
fuck of a lot easier if you're not treating me like shit because you can't read the sign on the front door.
Yeah.
Like I said, how do I relate it to people who work, like office jobs or whatever? Like, what would keep you an extra 45 minutes past when you thought you were leaving? What would do that?
Like a whole project.
Right.
not
Or like,
even
hey,
just an
actually,
email, like-
actually at 4:50, we're having a meeting.
Right.
We're having a company-wide meeting at 4:50.
Mandatory.
Are you frustrated by this? Or are you like, well, it's within 10 minutes of my time, so I guess it tracks? Like, no, of course you're annoyed.
Yeah. Mandatory 1 hour meeting at 4:45
Right.
when you're supposed to clock out at 5.
At 5. So, like, just be a little aware, Like,
I've definitely had people come in, sit down, and be like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I'm just really craving your clam chowder, and I need it."
yeah.
And then I'll get this to drink, and I'm like, "I got you. You
Yeah.
want bread with that?" Like, I will go out of my way for somebody that's like, "Hey, I'm really, really sorry, but
Yeah.
I have a craving right now that only you can satisfy."
Sure.
Me,
And absolutely.
personally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know
Let's
what?
do that. Absolutely.
I got
Let's
you.
do that.
Yeah.
And then especially the people who are like, go ahead and drop the check whenever you want.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I've even had people order and pay out immediately.
Yep.
And then they tell me, go ahead, go do what you have to do. Thank you so much for understanding. Like, probably people in the industry. And I'm,
yeah.
like, I can't emphasize it enough that, like, you are allowed to walk into a business close to its closing time. Just please be fucking aware of it. Be aware of it.
Yeah.
And, like, act accordingly. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying nobody go to a restaurant within 10 minutes of them closing. But, maybe fucking don't. I'm not saying not to.
I'm not saying not to,
But we'd
but also,
all really prefer if you fucking didn't. So,
across the street, they're open for another hour.
yeah, or two, depending on the
You
place.
have really great margaritas.
Yeah.
You should go there.
Also, one of the places I worked at, we were really popular for lunch. And we opened at 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we would sometimes have not one, not two, but 5 people, like 5 separate tables ready outside the door when we open those doors.
Yeah.
And fine, absolutely. Get to your favorite restaurant early for your lunch. 100%. We open at 11. We are fully ready to take you at 11. You want to know what I don't ever want you to do is bang on our door at 10:45 and ask me if you can come in now. No, you can't. Because part of my opening is making sure that the restaurant is fucking ready for you.
Yeah, I clock in at a very specific time so that I
Right.
have
Time to do that.
It really is like,
Yeah, we would have
cutting it
people
close.
like eyes to the door, like knock, 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 and it's like, I'm not fucking answering that door.
No.
I'm not opening that door for you. Nothing you have to say to me, unless you are a police officer or a firefighter or something, do I think I need to hear.
Even then, might not answer that
I
door.
mean, a person in uniform, I might be like, is everything okay? But if you're here for our soup and salad combo that starts at 11, you can fucking wait until 11. Like, I don't know another way to say it. But that was a consistent thing. It happened all the time.
Yeah.
It was like every other day that I worked mornings, there would be somebody knocking on that door. And printed below where they're shoving their face on the window is in fact the hours of operation. and I would just want to go up and like take their eyes and be like, right here. Right here. Or sometimes I would like dramatically check my watch as I walked past the front door. Like, is it opening time? No, it's fucking not. Fuck off.
That's one thing I hate about the restaurant that we're currently working in, because I have worked a lot of opening shifts, and I prefer, if I'm going to work behind the bar, I do prefer an opening shift.
Sure.
I hate that those doors are not locked.
No, they're not only not locked, they're wide open.
Wide open, way before we're even open. So people will come in, and our kitchen takes their break between 10:30 and 11.
Right.
We open at 11. So people will come in.
Because there's no orders to be set.
Right. People will come in at 10:45, sit down at the bar, or God forbid, seat themselves at a table.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey guys,
We're
not only is
open
my
yet.
kitchen on break, so am I.
Yeah. We're not open yet.
Like, nobody can take care of you right now because we are not meant to be open. I don't even have a way to swipe my card and get into a table right now to put in anything for you.
Also, no part of my job description says that I need to even speak to you until this restaurant is open.
I know.
So don't look at me like, where's my menu at? How about you just wait outside. We've got nice benches outside.
Beautiful.
Take a quick seat, you know?
The amount of times I have literally had somebody walk in at like 10:45.
And straight to you, because as the bartender, we're the only person visible in that restaurant.
No. Hostess at front desk.
No host. The opening servers in the back doing their duties.
I've had a host literally be like, yeah, the bar's right there. At 10:45.
No.
I will follow you home.
I will murder your dog.
And eat your hamster in front of you. And your children. It absolutely makes me so upset that I was just like, oh yeah, do what you want. Sometimes they're not there, but a few times they have been there. And I was like, what are you doing? And I've literally gone to the host and I'm like, why would you do that?
Why have you done
and they
this
were like,
to me?
oh, the door is open, and they walked in. And I'm like, yeah, you tell them we're not open.
We're not open yet. That's your job up here at the front, is to direct people to the hours of fucking operation.
No,
it's
instead
not that hard.
They direct them directly to somebody that's on break that cannot put any food into the system, to, even if I could, throw it into a kitchen where nobody is back there because they are all on break.
I have had a burrito halfway in my mouth and had somebody walk up to the bar before.
Absolutely not.
I'm sitting at one of the lounge tables with a whole ass burrito in my mouth, and I'm just like, sup? And they're like, oh,
How can I help you?
I just came for a gift card, this or that. Okay, I'm on break.
Yeah,
I don't clock in until 10:59.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot help you. Let me, I guess, stop my break to go and get a manager for you because you couldn't wait until 11 o'clock when this place actually fucking opened.
Right.
So, but the banging on the door, I mean, I just like, it always gave me a good laugh, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you want to laugh at the people. Because, and it happened when I worked retail, too. It would happen when I worked retail, especially I worked at a place that would have big blowout sales. So,
people lining
coupon
up.
days and sale days. I mean, yeah, there are people lined up. But, like, just the audacity to not, like, you have a phone that is connected to satellite time. You know exactly what fucking time it is. Why are you here? Like, be here, be in line. But, like, why are you thinking...
I can
you
get
think
in
I'm
early.
gonna let you get your shopping cart early? Like, go ahead and load it up, and when it hits 9 o'clock, you can be at the register? Like, that's not how this works.
No.
That's not how anything works. Can I have your personal cell phone number so that I can call you an hour before you're on your clock at your job? Because I need to discuss my insurance policy or whatever the fuck you do for a living. 20 minutes early. I need you available off the clock, please. Because that's how it feels. I can't.
I will be calling you in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
To talk to you about my extended warranty.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I'm
no,
gonna
they're
need
calling you in the middle of the night about your extended warranty. You don't need to call them. That's well and covered. They've got 24 hours on their clock.
Do you think it's time to check out?
Is it about time to check out?
I think so.
All right, let's go check out.
All right. Bye.
Bye.